What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday night, and Anon here. So, I have gotten a lot of folks reaching out saying, "Hey, Inferno X is out in Japan. Why don't you take a look at what you've done for every set since Surging Sparks and try to predict what the value is going to be?" So I said, "Man, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it." Um, so we've done this now for every set since Surging Sparks, and what we've done is we've gone through and trended the price of the Japanese cards as a trend down from release to when things normalize, and what the multiplier is in English. And then we've kind of compared it over time, and there's some anomalies here between the trainers and the regular card and things like that. But here, for example, the first pass Destin Rivals, we came out just under $350. We had a lot of PokeTuber frauds talk shit, and they got their face ripped off. It is what it is. It's okay to be wrong. We are all human after all. So we did the same with Black Bolt White Flare. Now, Black Bolt is a couple bucks below where we thought it would be because the set EV is actually quite good still. And then the same with Black Bolt, and then the same with White Flare. But let's look at Mega Evolutions because this one is really cool. So the implied value that we did, and again, we take the biggest cards. Now, with the Japanese normalized here, I take a little bit of liberties here. So, for example, we'll use Determination. The trainer cards come out and they have an extreme premium in Japanese versus English. Those cards don't translate as well as the rest of the cards. So we ratchet those down a little bit here. And then, generally speaking, the English cards translate into, on average, across a total population, about 2 to 1. So the English cards are worth about 2 times what Japanese cards are. Now, again, you'll have that is a simple average. You'll have cards that are 3 times more. You'll have cards that are less. It just is the way it is. So when we did the first Mega Evolutions look, and this was literally right after Japan released, we came out with $2,006 for the set value. Again, we ignore all the other stuff because we assume that the price of these cards are going to come down. So, just assume it's a wash. And then at that point in time, 14.9% was the Destin Rivals box to EV multiplier. So the box price divided by the total value of the cards in the set. And that gave us an implied box price for Mega Evolutions of $289.81. And as we look right now, that's pretty much right where the enhanced boxes are. Now, I did fast forward here. And again, some of these are inflated, obviously, because the set just came out yesterday officially. So we're $2,300 cards in the set, just the main set here. It's not Pokedata.io yet or anywhere. I can pull the actual number, but it's the same multiplier. Right now, it's worth about $345. It's going to come down. It's probably worth I would say in the high twos in reality. So what we've seen is the pull rates have been tweaked a little bit, and it looks like there's more hits per box. But the ones that we care about are the Mega Gardevoir, the Mega Lucario, the gold cards. It looks like they're about 1 in 780 packs. So in total, it's 1 out of 1560 for either one of those in particular, which is a healthy pull rate. And then the SARs, it looks like it's 1 in 78. There are 10 special illustration rares, SIRs, in Mega Evolutions 1. So that gives you about 1 in 780 for any specific. So these cards are going to be, I believe, a little bit more common than what we've seen in the past. I think Destin was like 1 in 900. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe it was a little bit more difficult. So I don't see anything materially changing here with Mega 1. Some of the cards are going to come down. But when we get to Mega 2, this is where I start to have concern. And I've been super, super bullish for a long time. Mega 2 gives me a little bit of pause, and I'll walk you through why. So, Phantasmal Flames is made up of Inferno X, plus the Diancie and the Gengar battle decks, whatever the hell they are, league battle decks or whatever. So those cards really, in my view, don't have a whole hell of a lot of value. And then Inferno X, which just came out yesterday in Japan. And that set's 80 cards. So this is going to be one of the smallest sets we had in a long time. And the best way to think about this is look at the Charizard set for SV03. It's about the same size. And when you have a small set, you're going to have a high concentration, generally speaking, of chase cards. It just happens to be a coincidence that the last two really small sets are Charizard sets. If you go back to Sword and Shield, and I don't recall exactly, is it Darkness? I'm not quite sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. But they all tend to be Charizard sets because Charizard is the big chase. And we're seeing the same thing in Mega Evolutions, too, in Phantasmal Flames as well. Now, the one thing I will mention is there were originally 11 SIRs in the set. So it was, I believe, six megas and 5 SARs. The Oricorio is actually supposed to be out of the set because that is going to be the Charizard XEX. It just sounds ridiculous. Ultra Premium Collection promo, along with the Mega Charizard that we've seen that was spoiled at Nationals and has been pretty well documented at this point. So that means there are only 10. So we're going to presume that the pull rates are exactly the same. However, the Charizard, the Gold Charizard, since there is only one gold card as opposed to two in Mega Evolutions, it should be double the frequency. Now, they could have doubled the pull rate, made it equally as rare as any one specific, but for the purpose of this, let's assume it's a little bit more common. And then we go down the list. The rest of these cards they don't really excite me that much. And this is where it starts to get a little red flaggy for me. So even if we assume the gold Charizard in Japanese is $500, and then the SAR is $300, and I think the Gardevoir is, I think the gold's like 350, 400. The SAR is less than that. So this is a little bit on the higher side. You take 2x that, which is the average. You're at $1,000 for the Charizard, 600 for the Mega Charizard SAR. I think that's too high. In fact, if the Charizard is twice the pull rate of the Gardevoir and Lucario, I think it's going to be $600 card, and that's going to put the SAR, quite honestly, I think at 350. And then you go through the rest of them. I mean, the Don SAR, it's not going to translate well because it's a trainer. So $60 max. The Oricorio's out. The Mega Charizard SAR, $80. Quite honestly, it's probably a $50 card when things mature. Yeah. Sharpedo, Lopunny, $60 maybe. So we get to a point where the value of the cards in the set really gets to a sub $200 point. Now, again, I could be totally missing something. If we take this Mega Charizard and then all of a sudden the pull rate is 1 in 1560, we can just throw it right back up there. And now you're at 235, but you are significantly lower than what we've seen for Mega Evolutions 1 and for Destined Rivals. So it's a little red flaggy. And the one thing I was going to do a separate video on this. I probably will at some point, but for those of you who have watched a bunch of my videos, I've been very, very vocal about what the Pokemon Company has told distributors in their offsite meetings, really starting in May of 2025. And as a refresher, they said that there is nothing meaningfully that they can do to increase the print runs until Q1 of 2026. And the reason for this is when they acquired Millennium Print Group is run as a standalone for-profit business. They have their own customers. Their customers have purchase orders. They have print commitments. They will not just axe those and say, you know what, we're going to print cards for ourselves. That's not the way the business works. So all of that backlog of work has to get done. And it starts to lighten up in Q1 of 2026. Now, we did see some print capacity be offset or transition, I should say, to the Netherlands print facility. So the US was printing cards for the United Kingdom up until June, July of this year. That transitioned over. But we've also had some delays in Europe where I think they're having some challenges, which is ordinary course when you're ramping up any sort of manufacturing facility on getting cards printed timely, because Europe, or so I'm told, is getting a large restock of prismatic evolutions booster bundles, but they aren't the 10-pack booster displays that we don't have in the US. They are the 25 booster bundle cases that are printed in the US that we all got here and were shipped to Europe. So nothing's changed per se. The way I look at it is it seems like the printing of packs is fine. It seems like the packaging of those packs is really where the strain on the system is, because we've seen things like my video last night, such as the prismatic premium figure collection not having the clasp on the back of the pin. We've seen incorrect packaging, Mega Evolutions having German packaging versus English packaging. We've seen booster bundles of 151 and Paladin Fates have uh, Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift packs in. So think of it this way: you have three different types of manufacturing per se. You have the actual production of the cards, the collation of the cards and the packs. You have the manufacturing of the boxes that the cards go in. You're either laminating the ETBs, you're doing the EX boxes, you're doing the booster boxes, the booster bundles, and then you have the group that just takes the packs and they put them in the box, and then they wrap them for shipping through the logistics chain, supply chain, to end distribution to the end customer. And that third phase is where it seems like things are failing right now. However, as things free up in 2026 in Q1, if you look at the cards themselves, and this is going to be a little bit of a rabbit hole, we have the G block, which it goes through, I believe it's G, goes through Paldean Fates. That is going to rotate in April of 2026. Then we have the H block, which goes through Prismatic Evolutions, includes Surging Sparks. That rotates out in April of 2027. Now you have we have the I block that doesn't rotate out until 2028. That includes Mega 1, Mega 2, Journey Together, and Destined Rivals. So I think that in Q1, we're going to start to see some pretty significant reprints of, at the very least, Mega 1, Mega 2, probably Destined Rivals. So if you look at a set like Mega Evolutions 2, which is a very, very shallow set, there's not a whole lot of depth, there's a couple cards, and that product gets dumped on the market, we're basically looking at Obsidian Flames 2.0 when nobody wanted Obsidian Flames 1.0. And if the Pokemon Company wanted to smash the market head on, which they haven't done yet, whether they haven't been willing or they haven't been able, this is a set you do it to, because it is a weaker set than what we've seen. It's a smaller set than what we've seen, and the market is going to get saturated far more quickly with this set than what they will with everything else. And I think one of the things they're going to have to do is they would have to produce enough product to send to distribution, where distribution has storage issues, where they have to move it to the customer. They can't sit on it, let it age, like distribution tends to do, and quite honestly is allowed to do. I mean, it's part of it, part of the strategy of business. So Mega Evolutions 2 for the first time scares the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a ton of reprint risk on this. I think we've seen that with just the number of Charizard EX UPCs that are reported to be printed. And I mean, look, I've corroborated that number 15 times. The allocations I've gotten from my distribution or from my distributors are through the roof, far greater than what I ever thought they'd be. Many times what I got for the super premium collection. So everything you've seen out there appears to be true, appears to be factual. But I would be very, very careful with Mega Evolutions 2. Mega Evolutions 1, they can reprint the shit out of it, but the set is strong. The same with Destined Rivals. But I would not be surprised if they put a hit on both sets and then they try to dump um, a million booster boxes on the market. And for those of you who haven't paid attention, and we have our own EV tracker that's going live early this week. We also have the Pokemon Pack Destruction tracker. We have to tweak it a little bit, make some changes included in there. To our best estimate, there were about 1.5 million booster boxes equivalent just in packs across the gamut based on what we've seen for graded cards. For Evolving Skies. Now I know Catch 'em All thinks the number is less because he thinks the graded number is better. He could very well be right. It's anybody's guess. These are just the assumptions that we made. But the ability to drop a million booster boxes if the capacity frees up is not outside the realm of reality. And look, we've seen ETB reprints come for Surging and Twilight, which is something we haven't seen for 18 months. So the winds are changing, and again, the Pokemon companies told us exactly what they're going to do. It's almost like they're running around with a bell around their neck. Like you can hear them coming. They're telling you what they're doing. They're showing you what they're doing. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and listen, and you don't even have to read the tea leaves because they kind of just punch you in the face and say, "Hey, this is what's coming." So, anyway, guys, again, I think the pre-release price for Mega Evolutions 2 for Phantasmal is way, way, way too high. Again, I'm probably in the low 200s where I think the box is really worth. It's probably going to sell for 250. If it sells for more than 250 at release, it's just way too high. So anyway, guys, hopefully this video was entertaining. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We will be selling Mega Evolutions 2 and Charizard UPCs to our subs. I think we have like 15 spots left. We always have some people moving around between premium and elite. So anyway, guys, have a great Saturday night, and we'll talk soon.